Okay, well, hello everyone. I'm Olivia Hanson, and I want to welcome you all tonight to our Seven Ray Seminar. So this is called an advancing seminar because it's building on the seminar that we had last year and previous things. And we'll be taking a deeper and broader and interesting look at these seven ray energies that make up, really energy makes up all that is. So we'll continue our focus, and in this seminar we will be focusing on how the rays manifest in our face and form. So that should be kind of interesting and also fun. And then we'll be doing something else as well. So right now I want to introduce my co-presenters. And so our leader, Michael Robbins.
Okay. Our leader, I like that.
Heidi Rose Robbins. Kathy Newbern. Eva, we're saying Eva Marie Simonson. We have two wonderful Evas. And Eva Smith. So this is the team, and we'll be delighted to be with you for this seminar. So right now, I think we'll get underway, and I'll turn things over to Michael Robbins.
Okay, thank you, Olivia, and thank you for making all this possible. Sort of a revival of the seven-ray method. We used to take it all around the country and around the world to help people figure out their rays, at least as a working hypothesis. It's also difficult to be completely certain about one's rays, frankly. It really is. As DK has said, it's not yet for a man to know his ray. And maybe it is for a woman to know her ray, maybe she can. But he said, it's not yet for a man to know his ray. Nevertheless, I think it's very good to review this periodically, maybe once a year. I think I review it once a day. But anyway, it is an important aspect of our esoteric training, as we know, because according to our ray formula, our soul ray and personality ray and mind, emotion, and body, and even later, according to our higher rays, we can direct our spiritual path forward, know what is right for us, and which tree to bark up, so to speak. We want to not be caught barking up the wrong tree. And DK has talked about that. He says a person who for many, many lives has trained as a military leader is not going to be all that good necessarily as a teacher, and vice versa. So we want to know what our stream is, and there's not a whole lot of great clarity about this, but usually we can identify one or two rays pretty well, I think. What's there. And then we can start putting them in order, and then we can consult Master DK in his wonderful old commentary and all of his advice, how to live with those rays and how to develop them. So our weekend, of course, is going to help us look at different methods of identifying rays. It will involve, as Livy said here, morphology, or the study of face and form, also of behavior in general. But we will also touch into the astrological aspect of it a bit, and some of you have been here for the astrology weekend, and also your astrology. I'm trying to, by the way, pass out, yes, I've been trying to do that for a long time. Okay, I'm trying to pass out if you haven't got your horoscope from me yet, I would like you to put your name down here. So some of you I have horoscopes of old, But we will also learn that not only do the rays place their signature upon a human being, the face and form, for spiritual reading purposes, but the astrological signs are very important in this whole business of the assessment of face and form. And the reason for it all is just to make sure that there's a correlation between who you think you are in the outer world and what's going on in the inner world. So I've often said that if a person doesn't look like their horoscope, the horoscope is wrong. Okay. So, of course, it could be the other way around too, couldn't it? Well, anyway, we won't be, changing you. We'll change the horoscope. So for all of our day tomorrow, we will be studying this very subtle process of morphological identification. And we will use each other as examples. I mean, if it was as plain as the nose on your face, everybody could just read it, right? But it is subtle, and it's a mixture of things. So we're going to be looking at that, and we will give you what we consider to be our identifiers when it comes to rays and it comes to, I just thought of something. Excuse me. It's called a tape recorder. Okay. Right. What did I say? Never mind. All right. So we'll be giving you these things, and maybe by the time you walk away at the end of the weekend here, it's not a weekend, middle of the week, you will be in a position to start looking at your fellow human beings in a new way with a shrewd observational perspective and just see how the inner energies, in fact, do work out in the outer form. And then we will know a whole lot about the Devic structure, because Devas will build according to a certain geometrical configuration related to their to the signs under which they build and the planetary powers under which they build. And one day we will have a science of astro-rheological genetics. It's coming. It may be a few centuries. You know, we have a lot to get people together with that, but it will be shown that these energies actually work, and from the study of the form, we will see it. And even the crudest perceiver will see it. Plug in or find another power source. This looks ominous, Bob. Someone there is running out of power. Okay. Okay. Well, we don't want to run out of power just yet. Now, on the last day, we'll be working most of the day tomorrow, from 9 roughly until 6 roughly. 5? 5. Oh, 5 my way, you'd stay till 7. All right. But anyway, till 5. And so it'll be a full day. But the next day we will work from 9 till roughly 3. Isn't it so? Something like that. Because after all, the conference does start. So that's not quite a full day, and it will be a very different orientation. It will be Master DK discussing how your soul ray and your personality ray may work through either your mind, your emotions, or body. Because each one of these rays, in almost all instances, has a particular one of our vehicles through which it works. Now, DK sometimes explicitly and oftentimes subtly told people about how their soul ray expressed through a certain vehicle and how their personality expressed through another vehicle. And this defined their problem. Maybe it will define yours, or don't you have any? Or maybe it will be a case that you will discover which rays of yours work through which vehicles, or at least have a good hypothesis. This is a very good thing. After he told people what their rays were, he told them what were the vehicles through which they worked. Okay. So that's the general excuse me, outline for the week, and hopefully we will be able to use each other as examples. When you observe your fellow human beings very closely, you know, the look on their face, the general structure, what their character does in terms of mobility to their face and form, you will begin to know them better and know yourself better. So I've oftentimes said, when you pay attention to the other person, you know yourself even better because you do it. When you have as much interest in the other person as you have in yourself, you really start to know who you are, too. Now, tonight is different. Tonight is a little bit of a review. It's called Revelations. Don't laugh, it's true. 30 years ago, some of us, 30 years ago, were involved, more than 30 years ago, in a ray group out of which grew this Seven Ray Institute in the University of Seven Rays, and we used to get together every month. And before we began anything, which was our rather deep ray study, we would give sort of a 2-hour report to each other. We'd all get together and say, what have you noticed about the expression of the 7 rays in your life during this past month? Okay, well now we have this past year or whatever it is. Some of you have been together a year ago and some were not here at our last 7 Ray seminar. But we're going to break into small groups. I will have a little meditation, a little alignment. We're going to break into small groups, and you're going to discuss how you have identified the functioning of rays in your life during this past period of time. And maybe you've come up with some questions, some contradictions, some things that could be this, it could be that. All of that is fair game. So we're out for the confirmation of our ray structure, or the doubts which keep us from confirming our ray structure. And we'll just have little discussions which will basically help all of us think carefully about our ray structure, because when I look at what you are saying about your structure, I'm going to learn something about my own. And, you know, we will try. It's up to you, finally, to know what your rays may be. You know, you can't have somebody else say they're this, that, and the other, unless it's Master DK or someone who really, really knows for certain. But we can come closer and closer and closer until we have a good working hypothesis. Now, last year, many of us developed a good working hypothesis. And let's see how that held up. Is it holding up, and why? What is your reason? That's the point. What is your reason for believing that a certain ray exists in a certain place? And don't forget, rays can change, as we discussed, and they don't change every day, but they can change under certain circumstances and laws. So as you get older and you are verging towards that next incarnation, you may end up having the personality ray toward the latter part of your life, which will be the personality ray of your next incarnation. So maybe you're showing it, and maybe it looks like a change. We will see. So for right now, you know, I don't want to overdo it here, because this night is yours. You will be getting together in groups facilitated by our, yes. And for those, I almost forgot a very important thing. With Eva, those who are new to the ray science, or who missed last year's presentation, or who feel you would like to bone up on the fundamentals of the rays, this is an evening when you could go with Eva and discuss the matter of the foundation, because it doesn't very well do to be discussing your ray structure if you don't know what a ray is, you know. So in terms of boning up on the fundamentals, because we had very lovely presentations here last year with beautiful imagery, which really give an excellent idea of what these things are, if you feel you need a little refresher on that, you would go with Eva over to the
lobby, and then the first door on the right.
Okay, the first room on the right. So not forcing you to do that, but it can be a very good idea, because the imagery is excellent and it gives a very clear idea of what the rays may be. Now we're just going to have a little alignment. Have I covered everything up to this point? Okay, now just a little bit of an alignment which will set us up for our small group discussions, okay? Now there will be probably 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, or do I have to lead one? Or can I be a roving ambassador of goodwill? Okay, can I be a roving ambassador? That means I'm just really nosy and I stick my nose in and find out what you're all saying. Okay. So, but I'm very interested in all of you, and the clearer your ray structure becomes to me and to our friends here, the closer we come to developing the science of the 7 rays. Remember, as DK said, the rays will be capable of expert diagnosis. I know it's such a 5th ray approach, isn't it? That word diagnosis, the word expert, 2 5th ray terms hinting to us that it will indeed be the science of the 7 rays, and not just sort of some kind of, I got an intuitive hit about you, you know, not just that. It will, you know, you're going to be able to look in the eye and find out what it is. And that'll be a wonderful day, because we'll know where we belong and we'll be able to do it better and help other people find their place. And what the Manu wants, as I understand, last time I talked to him, he says he wants everybody to be in the right place at the right time doing the right thing. So the science of the 7 rays can really help with that when we make it a science. So now, I just want to pull my chair out here for just a minute for a little alignment, if that's okay. Is this okay? Can you see me? It'll just be short, really short. But be prepared to do a little bit of a retrospective. And for you out there in television land, you can do this along with us, huh? Okay. So, just calming down. And letting the personality vehicles fall into a quiet rhythm. So that there is relaxation and poise and alertness all at the same time. We realize that we are the point of being consciousness. We are a being that has this sensitive, sentient thing we call consciousness, and at present, this point is immersed within 3 fields we call the personality fields: mind, emotions, and body. We are the soul in incarnation. But we can pull back from preoccupation with these fields. We can disidentify with them and become the observer. And we can realize, I have a body, but I am not that body. I have feelings and emotions, but I am not those feelings and emotions. I have a mental field, but I am not that mental field with its many thoughts and thought forms. I am the observer. We use the 5th ray, I am the observer. And in fact, I am the observer from a high point of observation. My true home, for the time being, is in the soul field. The field of light, of love, of sacrificial will, of synthetic perception. This is my true home for the time being. And from this place of wisdom and clearer sight than is possible when enmeshed within the personality, I can see my vehicles with objectivity. I can see each one of them with greater clarity, as if I was looking at an object, an animated object, and could evaluate the form and function of these vehicles. So now, with this in mind, those of you who have studied the 7 rays and thought about the matter, reaffirm or restate to yourself, I am a soul on this ray, because I am a personality on this ray because I have a mental vehicle on a certain ray because I have a sentient emotional vehicle on a certain ray because I have an etheric physical vehicle on a certain ray because now as I look over my life for the past number of months or maybe year, have I noticed any ray tendencies expressing themselves in whatever vehicle, from the soul to the body? Have I noticed anything? Anything that tends to confirm that a ray is in a particular vehicle? Over the past number of months or even years, if that's where you want to take it, have any doubts arisen in my mind about a ray that I thought I had and perhaps now question, or a ray that I thought I did not have and perhaps begin to wonder? Have any doubts arisen? And if I consider, finally, if I consider what I think to be my sole purpose, how can the rays I now hypothesize as my own help me express that soul purpose? And we will seal these thoughts and their evoked responses, of which you should make mental note. We will seal all this with an Om. Thank you. Well, it looks to me like we will have about 10 people in each group, something of that nature. How many would like to have a review of the Ray, a vivid review of the Ray fundamentals? Okay? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you meet with Eva. Now you go with her now. So you leave the room now so we can count up the rest of the people. So if you would like a review of the Ray fundamentals, so you become experts by tomorrow, you go with Eva. Okay. Very good. Now, very good, thank you. And by the way, I may have mentioned this, but if I don't have your birth chart, you just fill this out right over here, okay? Now, the 4 discussion groups will be led by our 4 faculty members of the Ray team, and I will kind of circulate, and watch what's happening. So you'll be ready to discuss in these groups those confirmations, or first of all, your Ray hypothesis. That's the first thing, right? That's what you start out with. Present Ray hypothesis, and then confirmations of it, examples, practical examples, or doubts about it for the reason that. Always have a reason. It's intuition is great if it's intuition, but when you make a statement about this is my Ray, we're at that level of thought where we have to give a reason for it. So you'll be giving the reasons for your confirmations and the reasons for your doubts. And then you just discuss. And that we'll come back together and we'll see how it all worked out. Now, the time is 1933, okay? Well, And I suppose, well, let's just see. It's going to last at least an hour, I'm sure, at least. So I'll ask the Ray team to stand up, and you just kind of cluster around them, and we're going to try to even out those who want to work with the different members, okay? They're all good, so just choose, But if you feel a special link, just gather around your member. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm just an ambassador of goodwill, so I'm not having a group. I'm going around from group to group. Heidi's group, Livy's group, Kathy's group, and Eva Marie's group. Okay, it should be about 7 or 8 in each group, I think. Okay, so can I ask this group with Kathy to step out a little bit so I can discriminate on the fourth mental subplane between groups? Okay?
Your subplane is showing.
My subplane is showing? Okay. Kamamanis, did you say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A little bit heavy over here. How many we got here? Hold on. No, BL, you're going to have to, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did I count you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'll do. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's good. Okay, I think we're good enough. So just find a place isolated from the other groups. Try to be as far apart as possible. And let your conscience be your guide.